It's not uncommon to find farmers celebrating a bumper harvest. But experts are telling us that it doesn't stop there. The way you handle that harvest, especially if it is of grain, can determine whether you make money or lose outrightly. There is what they call aflatoxins, which come as a result of poor post-harvest handling, especially when it comes to grains. Today we pick the mind of an expert to find out how deep a problem this is and what strategies are being deployed to ride it. Francis, it's nice to have you on the show, Money and Markets. We are glad to have you once again.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Now, I know as ABI you're supporting the grain subsector. What has been your contribution so far in this particular space?
Okay, thank you very much. Cereals, and specifically with the grains, is one of our value chains. It is actually our second flagship in terms of interventions. It takes most of our money. And the key areas we have been intervening for the cereals value chain. One, we're trying to improve the issue of post-harvest handling. And post-harvest handling mainly affects both the farmer, the smallholder farmers, and agribusinesses. As you are aware, our model involves working with agribusinesses who act as catalysts, and they work with smallholder farmers. So this is our area of intervention. We do post-harvest handling. We've also tried to look at areas of value addition. But the one which is coming very common now, where we are intervening in this area of value chain, is issues of development of standards.
What have been the high-level result areas, for your program in the grain subsector so far?
Okay, our ultimate high-level results from the intervention in the cereals value chain is not any different from other value chains. There are basically three. One, we want to improve the income of the farmers who are involved in the cereals value chain, especially maize. That's the key one, because our interest is really on the smallholder farmers. The second one is we want the agribusinesses who work with these farmers to make profits, because the only way you can sustain that relationship between farmers and agribusinesses is that if the agribusinesses are making profits, they should be able to pass some of the benefits to the farmers in form of technologies, in form of more income, paying a good price for that. But the ultimate one, eventually, for both of them is that we want to create employment. Employment at smallholder farmers. We don't mind whether they are being hired for small short-term jobs, but eventually that's employment.
Now, when one hears, the success of your interventions, they might think it's been a walk in the park. What have been some of the challenges you've had to contend with, to deliver those results?
The big challenges cut across the whole value chain. You remember that for us to intervene in any value chain, and for this matter of cereals, we do a lot of baseline analysis to find out what are the challenges within the whole value chain. One is that maize is a short-term crop, so people are very responsive to issues to do like the price. It's not like coffee. Coffee price is temporary. You do the investment, eventually the money comes maybe 1-2 years later. But maize, because of its short-term nature, people react. There is a knee-jerk reaction to whenever there is price, people withdraw from production, and then production eventually goes down. Then because of that, people also do not invest in agro inputs. So you'll find that productivity from a single unit will eventually go down because people are reacting to the price. Then the other challenges which we are facing at the moment is you have issues with climate change. That is for real. You know that for now we've spent about 5 months without the rains. And some of these short-term crops like maize suffer from the farmers decide not to go for them because they believe the season has gone through. And then the last one, of course, is the agro-input system. Even when the rains come, you still have a problem. Farmers do not access seed in time. They don't access the agro-inputs. And even agro-inputs are very expensive.
Share with us, some of your interventions in the areas of price fluctuations, production and productivity, and of course what we know as the weak governance structures of most of our SMEs.
ABI's approach, I have to tell you, is that we intervene right from the market. We do not look at price as a constraint. We look at price as a temporary issue. And it is influenced by issues of demand and supply. So our interventions, we usually start from the market. We look at the market, say the prices are low. What is the issue? Then we go into the issues and we find some of them are demand and supply, others to do with the regional geopolitics of the region. Then you have issues with quality, like I've told you, we have issues of quality, and that's where we are intervening. We are working with an IP for the purposes of developing the standards, but we're also creating an application, a market system on which traders and potential buyers can access and use that system for the purposes of trading. That is at market level. Then we come below that. We want help with value addition. Value addition mainly is equipment. We look processing equipment. A few of our implementing partners are now processing maize into posho, and they are selling locally. But we're looking at a situation where even processed maize or posho can be traded regionally. Then you come below that is the biggest challenge, which is post-harvest handling. Last year we had a lot of issue. We had a lot of oversupply of maize. The price went down. That's always a temporary situation, but we had nowhere to store this maize. You must have seen government trying to come up with interventions to create additional space or to invest, to encourage the private sector to invest in storage facilities. That is one of our key areas where we're spending money. The other area we are intervening in that we want to introduce technologies. You may have heard of something called aflatoxins. Aflatoxins are poisons in food, or maize specifically, and they are carcinogens. So they are areas which can cause cancer. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to fight that with other partners. So we're looking for partners whom we can work with to minimize the issue of aflatoxins or mycotoxins for that matter in maize. Those are the key areas. Then the last one is on issues of production and productivity. That's the one which affects farmers directly. We are creating a system where we want to bring agro-input dealers, we get the agribusiness, and then we look at financial institutions. How do farmers get seed at the right time and the right seed and at adequate prices?
Yes. Now, moving on, in terms of complementarity, how has ABI complemented, a couple of other programs that are ongoing, especially government programs like partnership?
Yes. As you know, our model is we work with agribusinesses who are the catalysts within the localities where they work. Now, these agribusinesses work with average of about 12,000 farmers, 12 to 15,000 farmers. Now, for those farmers, how we intervene with those farmers is that we do not provide certain inputs for them. Like, for example, seed. We don't give them seed. What we do is that we do demonstrations. We create centers of excellence for them to learn the advantages of good seed, the advantages of using fertilizer. Now, the other thing we would want cooperate with the government mainly is an area also of pest and disease management. We've been funding consultancies on the issue of the fall armyworm, if you've seen that. OWC has been very good in mobilizing farmers to control the fall armyworm, which has been affecting maize. From next year, we're opening what we call a funding window for maize. Now, in that funding window, we have an array of activities we want to do. We want to start right from seed up to flour. We want to help seed companies by ensuring that there's a regulatory framework for them to develop seed, for them to trade in seed, and to ensure that they make money. So we're going to advertise for a call of proposals, and we are expecting all of them, seed companies, seed multipliers, government agencies like NARO, to apply and get these funds so that we can help them to develop a very good regulatory framework for trading in seed. The reason why people do trade in fake seed is because you do not have a system in place of traceability. But we've been working over the years, creating farmer groups, creating agribusinesses, and as I said, if you bring in agro-input dealers into that equation and financial institutions, there will be some bit of authenticity in the inputs that are traded because we are able to trace. We will put up a system in place where we are able to trace the source of the inputs until it reaches the farmer. And we will help to fund that process because that's what we do in terms of increasing the effectiveness of our agribusinesses.
On that note, Francis, it's been nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.